That's it. We just want to win for our team.
My goodness! And Ievgen finishes it!
Yeah, we're just as good as men, or better.
It's a huge point for the Bay Area.
Good chance that's the #1 highlight of the week.
Okay, it is live, it is time. People around the world are watching. This is Major League Table Tennis. You are watching MLTT. It is day 1 of week number 8, where the action is going down right here in Davie, Florida, East Division. It is time for the second matchup of the night. First, let me welcome our officials. We've got June Amon and Bill. All righty, Crocs fans. We've
Well, it's a beautiful weekend, at least.
Rolkę. Wałek. Nie ma tam, nie? Spokojnie.
Good evening and welcome to the Broward Table Tennis Club here in Hollywood, Florida, as we get set for Friday primetime action between the Princeton Revolution and the Florida Crocs. There's our camera. We are having some minor technical difficulties, but we are still good to go. But he's Matt Hetherington. I'm Evan Lepler, and Matt, Florida and Princeton. It's their 4th time going head-to-head. Florida has been above Princeton in the standings all season long, but Princeton has won 2 of the 3 matchups against the Crocs, so we'll see how that impacts things today. The race for the 2 spot starting to tighten up a little bit in the East Division behind Carolina.
Yeah, I think that win from the Chicago Wind in our first match tonight has definitely ladled some pressure on the Princeton Revolution. I mean, Chicago Wind have 4 wins back-to-back now. The Revolution, obviously, they're here without Koyo Kanemitsu, who's been a strong player for their team. Also,
Representing Florida Crocs, I'll tell you in a minute. Let's start with USA's number 2, very strong for the United States, representing Princeton Revolution. Make some noise for Ievgen Pryshchepa.
Match 1, game 1, Revolution to serve, 0-0.
And we're underway. Mark Duran versus Jishan Liang, the first singles matchup in this Revolution Crocs Friday night battle.
0-2.
Jishan, as I've said before, in my opinion, the player with the biggest forehand in Major League Table Tennis.
It's the third time these two have battled on the table in MLTT. In October, Jishan took 2 out of 3. In November, Jishan took 2 out of 3 against Mark.
I think he's going to want 3 out of 3. And I had the chance to chat with him really briefly before coming in here, and he seemed pretty thrilled with his new serve. Doesn't usually use that reverse pendulum serve, so it's something he's been developing, and he said it was working a lot better for him to get even more big forehands.
Jishan off to a sizzling start. 6 straight points out of the gate.
He's out there teeing off like Tiger Woods.
Mark Duran is on the board for the hometown Crocs. And there have been weekends when the hometown advantage has not really been a factor. But there is a sizable and noteworthy partisan Florida crowd with thunder sticks and a fierce crocodile mascot roaming the premises as well. Where do you stand on thunder sticks, Matt?
I'm all for it. Make some noise. In the European leagues, they have thunder sticks. They have those twisty spinner. I don't even know what their name is.
Twisty spinner is
Twisty
the technical
spinners.
term.
The horns as well, even in table tennis matches.
Vuvuzelas?
Vuvuzelas, yeah.
The South African World Cup. 4 out of the last 5 for Duran after falling behind 6-0. And he's making this a little interesting here at 7-5.
One of the things that Duran has going in his favor against someone who has such a powerful forehand is that he's very unpredictable. Some of the stuff he does is quite unorthodox and surprising and out of left field. You never know what you're getting with Mark Duran. He's also a very quick player up at the table.
Timeout. Princeton. Matthias Habasson, the head coach of the Revolution. Watch Jishan Liang take a 6-0 lead, and all of a sudden it's a 1-point game, so an early timeout call gives us a chance to get settled in. Jishan did not play in Rock Hill. Frank Arias, the coach of the Crocs.
Y el segundo repitiendo lo ahí porque viene a recobrar
la posición, pero entonces repetirle ahí.
Yes.
Vamos, ya lo tienes ahí.
Hablas español, Mateo?
No, Mateo. You'd almost wonder if this might be the earliest timeout call in an MLTT match. First game, 7-6 of the first match.
Matias only has one timeout left to use before the Golden Game, and one more that he can use in the Golden Game. That's a couple hours down the road.
And Duran sends it long. You know, this timeout really tells us something about the Princeton Revolution, and that is that they need Jishan Liang to win all 3 games here. Again, without Jinshin and Koyo, they have Nishant Labaka back in from the draft pool.
He's not active tonight, though. Matthew DeSantalan will play Daniel Gorak in the 4th singles spot. I'm excited for second singles, Pryshchepa and Brosia. That has a chance to be a really exciting match.
Actually, the one that I want to see the most is DeSantalan and Daniel Gorak. It's probably been one of my favorite matches.
2 very different styles of play.
I think they played in the first week of the East Division against each other, and so many great rallies.
Yeah, you're right. Gorak took 2 out of 3. How about that from Jishan Liang out of the timeout? He converts for the next 5 points to take game 1, 11-7.
Just heard Adam Barbara saying that timeout went down like medicine.
With a spoonful of sugar, perhaps.
Certainly helped Jishan Liang get back on track. So Jishan really started out of the blocks there. 6 points in a row to get things going. Almost played 6 perfect forehands off the first half a game of points. There's the trusty Crocs mascot.
He looks a little bit like he's, I don't know, hunting Peter Pan or Captain Hook.
Maybe an alarm clock will go off at some point. So game 1, Jishan Liang, stronger. Mark Duran making a case, pushing back here. He has to disrupt the forehand game of Liang Jishan. Slower spin, quicker speeds, up over the table. It's really a game of find the backhand. Or at least find a weaker forehand opening. Not an easy task. Well, he did find the weaker forehand opening. Duran gets the ball quickly into the elbow of Liang.
2-2. Good.
Ever since the 6-0 start, Duran has been right there. I know that's a little bit like saying, other than that, Mrs. Lincoln, how was the play?
I mean, he certainly has the skills and the experience to contest this match.
Go, Mark.
I think probably more so than some of the other players on his team even. Great long fast serve right onto that back white line.
Service error from Jishan.
Can be tough. One of the things about bringing a new service action into the game, needs to build up more matches using it first, so under the pressure it can be hard to execute a new serve.
Does anything scream out at you in terms of big differences mechanically from his previous serves to what he's doing now?
Yeah, so it's totally opposite direction. It's actually a pretty effective serve for left-handers. Been a number of left-handers like Timo Boll, Michael Mays that are pretty well known for.
Durant catches the edge.
Yeah, I mean it's a totally opposite direction, totally opposite spin. It's really good to have both options, especially when you have a big forehand. If the pendulum direction doesn't work that well for setting up your forehand, you can just switch and try the opposite. So he certainly seemed pretty pumped up about it when we talked earlier. So we'll see how this match goes for him.
Jishan will also be playing doubles for Princeton today alongside Angela Guan against the familiar duo of Gorak and Ekholm. While Duran will have a long break before the Golden Game. And in the first singles spot, and not again until the grand finale. What a Golden Game we saw earlier tonight with Carolina and Chicago.
I think that highlighted better than any other Golden Game the importance of taking risks in the order and really trying to analyze the matchups between each player.
Yeah, really smart move by Eric Owens, kind of multi-layered thinking.
I mean,
the first spot, the 4 spot, the 5 spot.
But it's so bold because parts of it are irrational, and you know it's a move that could totally backfire.
Yeah, it worked out this time though.
Yeah, superb decision making.
I wonder if we'll see more of that in the second half of the season. Oh, Leon tried to stay alive, but Duran able to finish game 2 by the same score Leon took game 1.
Duran's adapted so well since those first 6 points were played. You almost feel if he'd started off like this, things might be very different in the first game result. Again, for Duran, it's using his speed. He's so quick up on the table, and when you're a quick player and you're playing against someone who needs time to set up a big forehand, having speed on your side is a hugely beneficial thing.
So, an important question I want to ask you, Matt, how do you approach a match as a spectator when both guys on the table are on your fantasy team? Because that's the situation I'm in right now. I'm rooting for both Jishan and Mark to do well this weekend.
I mean, the good thing is you can just enjoy the match because you know that you're going to get points for every single game anyway. So there's always at least a safety net, whereas if you have one of them and they lose 3-0, which fortunately for me now is not the case because I do have one of them.
Which one do you have?
I'll tell you at the end. I have Duran.
Interesting.
I love watching Duran play. I think it's just, he's kind of like a Pandora's box to me. I've seen him play two-handed backhands and chop blocks and hand switch, all kinds of strange things within just one rally.
He's another guy that we've seen respond well to slow starts sometimes. I mean, last time he played Jishan, he lost game 1 11-4, and then he won game 2 11-9. And then the third game went to the golden point. Went Jishan's way ultimately. Oh, that's the shot of the night. Did it hit?
From where I'm sitting, that bounced up. I think that bounced up.
Off the side of the table.
I think that was the side.
They're calling it Jishan's point, saying it did not hit the top.
I think that was the side. It was interesting because usually if the ball bounces up, it indicates that it's hit the top edge of the table, but not always. I genuinely think if you looked at the slow motion replay, I think that hit the side of the table.
There was no decisive call either way by the umpires. They kind of stared at each other and eventually said point for the Revolution.
Crocs don't look happy about that. It's a tough call. Yeah, it's a tough call. Usually the visual signal is if the ball bounces up, then it hit the top edge.
Timeout, Florida. Hope we can go back, take one more look at that previous point.
I did feel like it hit the side. It's a really tough call when you're sitting there watching it in real time and real speed. And of course, the players don't have the luxury of being able to watch it back in slow motion, and neither do the umpires. But I feel like it hit the side. It was close to the top, but I don't know.
I mean, what if 4/5 of the ball hits the side, but
the
1/5 of the ball hits the top?
The difficult thing now is that there are screens down on the side of the court, so the Florida Crocs have just seen that replay, and it's reconfirmed for them. They think it hit the top, but
I don't think it hit the top. But I don't know what I'm looking at. I know that Jishan Liang, regardless of that previous point, is locked in here in game 3.
I don't know, I might have changed my mind. The second angle, seeing it from the second angle from behind Duran, yeah, I'm not sure. What I do know is that both players need to refocus and keep moving forward. Crowd energy here is giving the Bay Area a run for its money.
Jishan Liang just teeing off.
A little bit of a late pickup there from Duran. He got himself into a reasonably good position. I think he let that ball drop a bit too much. One thing you never want to give a player like Jishan Liang is time.
Left. Go, Mark.
Coming up next, a match that Evan pointed out he was looking forward to. Ievgen Pryshchepa and Benjamin Brossier.
Are you not looking forward to it?
I am. I look forward to every match.
I hear that. How about that? Too good. So he's got a backhand powerful too. How many licks to get to the Tootsie Roll center or the Tootsie Pop, Matt?
At least one more, I think. And Jishan just hangs in and keeps going. Duran didn't really have too many options from back there. He went for one forehand counter, but Jishan got the ball back over to the backhand side. Was kind of waiting to see if Duran would throw in a two-handed backhand.
Impressive for Duran to defend for that long. Jishan didn't try to go too big. Stayed with it. is a lively crowd here at the Broward County Table Tennis Club, Hollywood, Florida.
Ievgen getting away here a little bit in the third.
Duran really had to have that one, and Ievgen out-dueling him here in game 3. It's a familiar story for Duran, who's gone 1 and 2 in singles in each of his previous matchups against the Revolution. And it'll be a similar story today as Ievgen finishes game 3 11-5 to take 2 out of 3 for Princeton.
I'll tell you one thing. Sean O'Neill's fantasy league lineup's looking pretty hot right now.
Is it really? That's the biggest surprise of the day.
Yeah, there it is. We got a microphone.
It's early. It is very early.
Enzo and Damien Provost in the lineup. Ievgen Liang, Romain Laurence, Emily Tan.
It's very early, and frankly, Sean is due. I mean, a guy of that table tennis intellect, you think he would, be a blind squirrel finding a nut from a fantasy table tennis perspective eventually. Ievgen Liang is the winner in our first singles match of the night session. Ievgen, congrats. Happy New Year to you. What was it like battling Mark Duran for the 3rd time here in MLTT?
Yeah, this is the 3rd time I play him. Of course, he's a really good player, a really good experience. Every time he tried to change something different. Yeah, and also the new year I try to do something different and keep my mentally continue to working on it.
And you told me a little bit before the match in the hotel lobby before, and we saw it here, that you've been working on a new serve and you've been using the reverse pendulum. What gave you the inspiration to try something different? Obviously you've been playing you've had a very long career. Why now? What's the importance of the timing now, and how did you feel like it worked for you in the match?
Yeah, I think actually really hard if I need to continue use this serve for the first match for this year's. Basically, before also trying to do this, but sometimes not work, I just immediately stop. But it's 2024, I tell myself, doesn't matter win or lose, I need to try something different and I need to keep working on it. Doesn't matter, and give me confidence sometimes. Yep.
Ievgen, on the one really long point where Mark was deep on the table and you just kept popping it back, what's the balance of how aggressive you want to be in terms of trying to put that point away?
Yeah, because this is not the first time I'm seeing this point with him, because every time there have some amazing point and he can fishing like a lot of time. So I'm ready for this, and I'm not trying to use full power. I just trying to continue keep going, and even like counter loop, I feel like confident. Just keep on the table.
We'll let you go and get ready for doubles. Ievgen, congrats. We'll see you in a bit.
Thank you.
Thank you. All righty, Pryshchepa and Brossier. These are 2 players that can really deliver exhilarating table tennis. MLTT Commissioner Flint Lane has nicknamed Benjamin Brossier Floorburn for his propensity for diving after balls and getting some knee scrapes from time to time, and Pryshchepa really solid at the table as well. So this should be fun. 2-1 lead for Princeton after the first singles match. Brossier will serve to begin match number 2. Three straight for Ievgen. Started playing table tennis at a club in Kyiv, Ukraine, right down the street from his house, a 1-minute walk. Started playing when he was 6 years old. He's now 38. Rossier from Paris, an Olympian in 2016. Now 29 years old. He'll be 30 2 weeks from tomorrow.
That's always a tough line to cross in this sport.
Life begins at 30, Matt.
Pryshchepa for me is a player that's been such a reliable part of the Princeton Revolution. Doesn't particularly do anything really flashy in his game, but just solid off both wings, consistent, steady.
Pretty one-sided opening game so far in favor of the Revolution. I don't imagine Chicago is pulling for Princeton a little bit tonight, even though the Wind are competing with the Revolution too. But both Princeton and Chicago are chasing Florida for the 2 spot. Crocs began the weekend 21 points clear of Princeton, 25 points ahead of Chicago. The Wind getting the upset over Carolina. So if we're trying to put together a kind of a season-changing weekend, starting with a win over the top team is a fantastic way to start for Chicago. And Eric Owen certainly has belief in his group. Got a pretty full-strength squad for the most part this weekend, with the exception of Sasha Henin, who's not here. Rossier fighting his way back into it. 4 straight now for Rossier.
Starting to put some more pressure on, particularly with the backhand. Looking for the forehand against the top of the net.
And by Pryshchepa's standards, his performance in Rock Hill was subpar. He was one of the better singles players in the league heading into the interdivisional weekend, and then surprisingly went just 4-8 in singles across the 3-day competition where the Revolution played 4 matches.
I think the style matchups on the East Coast are better for him. There are more European-based players who, when you've had basically a 3-decade-long career in Europe, you have a lot of experience playing against lots of different styles.
In the interdivisional weekend, he played against Texas's Dave Macbeth, Seattle's Nikhil Kumar, Bay Area's Talon Zhang, and they got a win over Portland's Jonathan McDonald.
It's a pretty interesting mix of opponents. All 3 of them are, well, all 4 of them are totally different from each other.
Game point, Ievgen Pryshchepa. 11-8. And for the Revolution, they win 3 out of their 4 matches in that interdivisional weekend, including a thrilling come-from-behind win where they beat Texas on the ultimate golden point, Jinshin Wang against Kasahara. And a crazy comeback. I think it was 2015 they were down, and Angela Guan brought Princeton back. And look, Pryshchepa's been a key member of this team since the very first weekend in Daytona Beach. His best weekend of the season was a 7-2 performance in Myrtle. And this Princeton team, it's interesting because from a depth standpoint, you talk about they're missing Jinshin Wang and they're missing Koyo Kanemitsu, 2 of their top players this season, and yet it feels like they've got a pretty capable singles lineup here tonight as well.
Yeah, I think there is a little bit more pressure on their players to step up. Again, seeing that really early timeout in the first game of the first match, I think showed, okay, we don't just need wins. If we're going to get wins, we want 3-0. And I think that timeout showed the emphasis on let's make sure that we capitalize off our advantages here and we take every single game that we possibly can.
1-0.
Pryshchepa doing a good job of subduing the local Florida crowd. Doing a good job of mixing up the serve game. See from that side angle, both players, even though they're playing backhand to backhand, you can see changes in pace, changes in depth, trajectory. So there's a lot more going on in a table tennis point than sometimes meets the eye.
This is the first meeting between Pryshchepa and Brossier in MLTT in a match.
Brossier with an opportunity there on the forehand. Straight down the line there on the backhand.
5-all, game 2.
Attentive there from Pryshchepa. He full contact. His placement game's been going pretty well for him here in the second. Trying to target the body a little bit more. Going for some more hooking variations with the forehand as well. Backhands down the line. Certainly looking for ways to mount the pressure. Sends that one flying off the top of the racket.
Thought we might have a souvenir up in our makeshift elevated broadcast booth. I'll be ready. You seem skeptical of my readiness.
No, I just immediately thought of Baywatch when you said that. Being as we are down here near the beach. Light flip on the net there from Grossier, but it's going to give him a 3-point lead. And again, Pryshchepa just nailing the top edge of his racket. Grossier sets up with 4 game points. 5.
7, 10.
Pryshchepa saves 1. Long way to go.
Saves another.
Not had a golden point yet tonight, either in the Florida Chicago match or so far here in this Princeton. Let's say Florida Chicago Carolina earlier. Well, 3 game points saved. Grossier's got one more chance on his serve to finish this off. Frank Arias going to take his first time out of the night at 10-9 here in the middle game of the second singles match.
Every time you serve short to the reverse to the short to his back, he'd come in there. Maybe a long serve to his backhand underspin. Because he's always like, every time you do the serve.
We wait for, you can wait for the long. This one we change maybe.
Right.
I don't know, I'm still thinking.
Yeah, whatever you feel more comfortable.
Yeah, just need to go for it. But like the last one, he doesn't. He also makes the same mistake as I do. It's really difficult, so I have to put on the table.
All right. Come on, let's go. Come on, let's get this one. We need it. Come on. Come on.
Now
yours. Come on. Yeah, it's yours. Come on.
On the bench.
Hey,
Crocs coach Frank Arias. Arias giving some suggestions about choice of serve, which is going to be pretty crucial here. Certainly, Grossier, as he said, has a lot to think about.
Pryshchepa has come back from 10-6 down to create the first golden point of the weekend.
And he'll have the serve in hand.
give the Revolution a 4-1 lead. Deep serve, deep return, and Brossier able to survive and take game 2.
I think that backhand serve from Pryshchepa was a little bit far from what he was planning. Kind of bounced up off the table.
That was a very exciting comeback, and Brossier able to hang on to the delight of Frank Arias, and the Crocs suddenly back within 1 point. Big third game coming up.
Well, it's like Frank said, they needed that.
Yes, they did. Got off to a good start in that game, and that was huge for Brossier, who went 6-6 in 4 singles matches in Rock Hill. Also played an interesting quartet of opponents. Match against Seattle, he faced Andrew Sal. Also faced Daryl Sal from Texas. He lost to Sonora Silva, who's a former member of the Princeton Revolution, 2-1, and then he played a really exciting battle with Portland's Isaac Villa Ortiz. Ortiz took 2 out of 3. All 3 of those games were decided by 3 points or less. You know what I find amazing as this game 3 gets underway is that no matter how poorly Sean O'Neill has performed in fantasy table tennis in the past, his confidence is undeterred as our text messages are blowing up right now.
It's my fault.
From a mighty confident Sean O'Neill after 1 match. Like, he's in 50th place after 1 match. If players had majority Revolution or Crocs players on their teams, it's an inconsequential start to the weekend from a fantasy perspective, and Sean is celebrating like he is the king.
Yeah, I feel like I may have instilled some extra confidence in him. But you're right. Actually, considering it's
astonishing.
A reasonable lineup for the first match, tied for 50th on weekend is not anything to send a postcard home about. But
it's also
we'll let him have his moments.
I was asked heading into the last day in Rock Hill, Evan, why don't you talk about fantasy table tennis more? Well, because I like to wait till the weekend is nearing its conclusion when we have a better perspective of where everybody is at.
You've never heard the expression swing while you're winning?
What do you think is going to ultimately decide who takes game 3 here?
Serve and return. I think it's just been such a big factor in the game, and the players have shifted through a lot of different service types. They're still trying out long, fast serves. Pryshchepa's working in the backhand serve. You heard in the timeout the talk about serve. There's another good example. A long, fast reverse is really not an easy serve to pull off, so they're taking some risks in their decisions about serve. I think it's just about trying to put more pressure on than the opponent in the rallies. I feel like we saw Pryshchepa taking more risk in the second. He went for some slightly bigger shots, pinged the top edge of his racket a couple of times on bigger forehand attempts. The strength in his game is usually in stability. And there's another good example of so many different serve variations coming through here.
Young and Guan versus Gorak and Ekholm coming up in doubles.
And a good serve and setup there. Brossier with the reverse to the forehand. Picks off that weaker forehand receive from Pryshchepa. And he'll take another point from the serve. Ties things up here in the third. Missed opportunity from Pryshchepa to follow up on the serve. Just a bit of an unstable footing there to get the right weight transfer. Well anticipated by Ievgen Pryshchepa.
Absolutely. I've heard you and Sean say that the person who attacks first is usually in position. Brossier attacked first, but not good enough. Brossier's not going away, though. Wow! How about that?
No better time for it. Brossier picks up the half-long ball, steps around. It wasn't even half-long. Short, just popped up a tiny bit.
And Pryshchepa probably wants that serve back.
Perfect judgment there from Brossier.
All of a sudden, Brossier into the lead here in game 3. An opportunity to level up this team match at 3 points apiece heading into the doubles. When it looked like Princeton was about to go up 4-1 not that long ago. Yeah! 10-8 for Benjamin Brossier. Matthias Habasson could have taken a final timeout, did not choose to call it. What an effort. Brossier lays out to stay in the point, and Pryshchepa calmly sends it back. That's one of the points of the weekend without a doubt.
Not the first time we've seen that from Benjamin Brossier. Doing justice to Flint's nickname for him.
And that's a floor burn or two. Adam Bobrow.
I can't believe he got that ball back on the table.
Bobrow's enjoying himself. That's nothing new. That'll do it. Brossier celebrates a 2-1 win for the Crocs. What a battle. And you can see what it means to him and to these crazy Croc fans here in Broward County.
What a outstanding finish.
Florida Crocs. What a spectacular finish.
We are joined by Benjamin Brossier. Tremendous, entertaining effort. Benjamin getting a drink of water. Congratulations on pulling that one out. Just so many exhilarating moments throughout that match. I don't even know where to start. What's on your mind right now in the aftermath of that match?
What's on my mind now? I'm just thrilled that I won this match. It was not really a nice match to watch, except the last points. But still, I kept my head straight to win at the end, and I'm really proud of this.
And the match was very kind of focused around a lot of serve and receives. The serve variations from both of you changed a lot. How much of your focus was on changing your serve up and focusing on serve receive?
Yeah, it's true that I think we didn't have really good sensation in the game. I will speak for myself, but I felt that also for him. And it's true that it was really important to play on the first point on the service part. I tried to change a little bit my service, but at the end my service in the forehand was working, so I changed just to make him a little bit confused. But my main goal was to keep it like this, like straight in the forehand. And
Benjamin, how's the body feeling after throwing around?
I will tell it to you after the weekend. For the moment, I'm okay.
All right, get some rest, get some water. We'll see you in the Golden Game.
Thank you.
Doubles time. Liang and Guan sit the battle. Gorak and Ekholm.
I like these new player pictures from the media days that we had in South Carolina.
We've seen this doubles matchup twice before, in October and November. Gorak and Ekholm took 2 out of 3 in both of those matches. There were 3 golden points in the 6 games between these 2 doubles duos. So 5 of the 6 games decided by 3 points or less. Brace yourself for some fireworks here, Matt. Well, that wasn't what I had in mind.
If you meant firework in the sense of vertical trajectory.
Yeah. Jishan forehands hitting the ceiling and exploding. Could happen. You ever seen a ball explode off a paddle?
Yes. Actually, I think in the very early days of the change to the plastic ball, back around the early 2014, they hadn't really done, they kind of rushed it in. They switched from celluloid to plastic, and I think it was very early development stages. So yeah, you'd literally see
it would pop like a firework.
If the ball even touched the top edge of a racket with a seamless ball, it would split in half. Thankfully, things have developed in the past almost 10 years since then. I was genuinely worried for the sport for a while there.
Only 5 days away from New Year's Eve. Fireworks still lingering out there, ready to pop. Were you awake at midnight on New Year's Eve, Matt?
I was up till 5 a.m., which I think I'm still recovering from.
Wow. That sounds like you had a heck of a night.
It was just a long night. There's the big forehand from Jishan Liang off the back of a defensive play by Angela Guan. There's a lot of footwork patterns and movements that come into play when you have a defensive player and a very aggressive offensive player. Jishan has to make sure he doesn't give up too much ground and drift back from the table with Angela, who needs more space.
Well, 3 of the 4 East Division teams really excelled in doubles in the interdivisional weekend. Florida and Carolina both went 10-2 in doubles in Rock Hill. And Chicago went 9-3. Princeton, though, only went 6-6. Matthias Havison still looking for the right doubles combination. We've seen Jishan and Angela a decent amount. They have played doubles together now in 4 different matches. They're 4-8 together. For any games across 4 different matches of 3 games apiece. Ekholm and Gorak have been the familiar pair. They've played together all season, and they are 26-13. They've won 2 out of every 3 games they've played so far this year in doubles. Give that point to the Revolution. Back to a 1-point game.
That serve may have touched the wrong side of the table, so it's got to go diagonal from the right side of the server's side.
It's the only time the line on the table means anything, right? Doubles?
Yeah, that's right. And it's something that especially a lot of recreational players aren't aware of. Is in singles, you can serve anywhere. There's a lot of mythical rules about serves in table tennis. Jishan looking for the big forehand counter. It's Ekholm who draws it up at 7 points each. Gorak truly here on home ground. He's out coaching in Lakeland, Florida. I think living in Tampa or Clearwater, somewhere around the area.
Yep. 2016 Olympian, 5 times a Polish national champ, Dan Gorak.
It's interesting to me sometimes in these doubles combinations, it feels like the pressure's on Ekholm to make the first opening. I feel like Gorak tends to play slightly more passive in these doubles than he might in singles.
Rare attack from Angela Guan, and it works out to set up game point Princeton. Good to see Angela take that big swing in that moment. That's what they need her to do.
You can see Jishan drifting back with Angela as she plays the defense and then looking for those bigger shots. Difficult to land them from back there. So the Crocs with the serve, but not the lead.
Game 1 goes to the Revolution.
Great start from Princeton Revolution. I think Gorak needs to step things up. He needs to be a little more aggressive. It's a lot of pressure. You know, we've had a lot of post-match interviews with Matilda after the doubles, whether the team have won or lost. I think she's always kind of come back to the same thing of feeling that pressure to get the ball on the table, to get the first forehand on the table. So it's going to be interesting foremostly to see whether she adjusts and whether she can raise the consistency, but I do think there's a lot of pressure on her in that first game. If Gorak's playing slightly more passively and not attacking as much, definitely played into the hands of the Princeton Revolution, that's for sure.
Matt, we've talked a lot about Enzo Angles, and rightfully so, but Gorak was right up there in terms of being the best player in Rock Hill in early December. Dan in singles went 10-2, and doubles went 10-2, and also won more points in the Golden game than he lost. I mean, it was a tremendous weekend for the Polish star. After what frankly was a disappointing weekend by his standards in Chicago in November. He was very good in September, very good in October. Stumbled a little bit in November, but bounced back beautifully in December. It's been fun kind of generating that monthly rhythm, seeing players step up, rise and fall, the normal peaks and valleys of sports.
Gorak getting the forehand in. Needs to step up the offensive. He's going to have a decent amount of home support here. Tie things up here. A full weekend of matches here at the Broward Table Tennis Club. Pretty simple backhand flick there from Ekholm, does the trick.
Tonight, action continues at 4 o'clock local time here tomorrow. And then 11 a.m. bright and early on Sunday morning. Lunging effort from Leon, couldn't get it back, and Florida's back within one.
Right now, this Princeton Revolution pairing are looking pretty confident. It's going to be a tough battle for the Florida Crocs to regain control. Gorak steps up against the chop of Angela Guan. That backhand ball out nice and wide. Great finish from her. The Crocs take the lead. And there's that confidence that we need to see from Ekholm in committing and executing those opening backhand and forehand loops against the backspin. You can see how far back Jishan is from the table. The Crocs getting Angela Guan to move across in front of Jishan. They're almost trying to block him and keep him back from the table while Angela's moving. This is one of the bigger challenges of playing with a defensive player in doubles.
10-7 now for Ekholm and Gorak.
And Jishan just puts the ball away.
Leaving no doubt. Kaboom.
Ekholm did such a good job of deflecting his first forehand.
Had a feeling Jishan was going to go for something big.
Gorak's short receive just popped up a little too much there.
Juan's got one more serve.
And a smart decision from Daniel Gorak. Doesn't overplay the ball, just steady spin. Cuts a wide angle. So the Crocs level up, 1 game each. Pretty tight margin there, 11 points to 9.
Yeah, first game was 11-8.
I mean, the Revolution looked to be in control, at least in the first half of that second game as well. But again, it just comes back to Gorak being an assertive player. He's got to get into his attacking game, especially in the third, given that the order switches back, at least in the first half. So Gorak has successfully alleviated some of the pressure off his partner on the first opening. Ekholm plays, I would say, much better against topspin than she does against backspin, so having Gorak playing against Angela is a little bit better for them.
Yeah, well, it puts Princeton in a tough spot with Guan chopping it back. It's almost like she's teeing it up, it feels like, for Gorak sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, they need to get out to a good start in the first half here, but one of the things that they have always had to be conscious of is not having Jishan moving behind Angela all the time. He's got to find a position where when he moves in to take his shot, he's able to kind of maintain a good position up nearer the table. Both teams backed off the table there. There's only one of them that's comfortable playing that distance back, and it's Angela.
I was just thinking how important it was for Princeton to get that point, not fall behind 2-0 heading into Florida's serves. Florida is kind of gradually but steadily seizing control.
Yeah, I mean, Jishan cannot afford to be that far back from the table. It's an area where he's either going to play soft or he's going to try and play big shots, and just doesn't have the consistency playing shots that big from that far back.
Not a ton on that forehand, but enough to put the pressure on Gorak, and we hit it from over the table, so Gorak didn't have as much time to think about it. Princeton needs more of that.
holds his ground.
Crocs mascot has got to be warm. But he's still bringing the energy.
He's
bringing
moving
the
around
passion.
a lot. That is a tough break off the net. Very frustrated there from Ievgen. She had a chance. Guan just brought that ball back nice and steady, right onto the white line at the back of the table.
We have seen officials give yellow cards for far less than the paddle flip that Matilda Ekholm just casually tossed on the table. And for the record, I am not advocating for her to get a card on that play. I'm just articulating that we have seen more penalty for less frustration before. That's 5 straight points. Ekholm, very frustrated, does not think the serve was legal.
So Ekholm is indicating that the first bounce of the serve is actually on the wrong side of the table. It's a little difficult to see from that angle with Jishan in the way. But when you're serving diagonal, it's both bounces that have to fit within those 2 squares.
Angela's not going to leave any doubt this time. She goes to the corner of the table. Wow. Princeton has completely turned this game around after trailing 3-1.
Jishan certainly stamped his authority on that ball. Angela goes on the attack, but Matilda Ekholm starting to get fired up here.
What a point. Princeton prevails and now leads 8-4. 7 of the last 8 points have gone to the Revolution here in this decisive game 3. Decisive in more ways than one. The overall team tally currently sitting deadlock 4 points apiece. You know what, this feels like a really big point for Princeton. Because I don't know about you, but I would favor Florida in the next 2 singles matchups. Onaolapo against Chen and Gorak against Asantalan.
Yeah, it's, I would say there's definitely some favor for the Crocs. And of course they have a home crowd advantage too. Getting good support out here. Will it be enough to bring Gorak and Ekholm back in this match?
They've talked about their mental strength all season long, and before this point, we're going to get a timeout from Matthias Habasson. I think he senses how critical this point is too. You know, this could really mushroom quickly if the Crocs could take a 5-4 lead here. All of a sudden, Ojo takes 2 out of 3. Gorak takes 2 out of 3, and Florida's got a pretty healthy lead.
Stay close, go on to the exactly. Yeah.
serve. Middle. I block on table, and then on table, and then you chop on table. I try counter next one.
You just take you take your position, okay? Stick, you take your position. Okay.
Even high ball, you feel not comfortable. Okay.
So, just so. Okay? Good guys. Come on.
Did Jisan just say if it's a high ball, you can't chop the ball?
Because if it is noticed,
I'm not sure that's what he said, but I thought that was what he said.
I think he said even if it's a high ball that she should chop. He's basically saying as long as she plays a defensive shot, if they have to spin the ball up, he's going to go in for the counter.
Okay.
At least that's what I think he said. I guess we'll find out.
Two serves for Ekholm.
And you have to imagine that it might have backfired there, because in that situation, Angela could probably have done with attacking. Opted to play defensively instead. Juan with some quick hands there. Gets up on the table with the forehand block. This time Ekholm puts the ball down the line instead. She knows that Angela's not going to block with the long pip side. It's a simple redirect from Ekholm.
This has been one heck of a doubles match. Serve goes back to Gorak. Good spot for the Crocs. We have seen this movie before.
Arias is up on his feet like they've just won the match already.
Game point. Gorak and Ekholm do it again for the Crocs in doubles.
And they went for the same play, same setup they went for. 2 points in a row. 2 points in a row, it worked for them. And that made all the difference. Ekholm and Gorak continue their run as one of the strongest doubles teams.
You ever seen a dancing crocodile? You have now.
4-8 down. It was looking grim. It was dark.
First game was 11-8. Games 2 and 3 were both 11-9. That was one fun battle in doubles here with Princeton and Florida, but as usual, Gorak and Ekholm emerged victorious. Matilda, we've had plenty of these chats.
Yeah.
After you and Daniel were behind, either in a particular game or down 1-0. You guys find a way to do it again. New year, similar result for you and Daniel. What was the story of that match from your mind?
I don't know how we do it. It's clearly not the first time. But it's like I always say, like Daniel's so calm that when I stress and spiral, then he brings me back, and then I can focus. And I mean, he was playing so good the whole match. So I mean, kudos to Daniel. He was so good.
Well, what do you think made the difference in the end, especially in the last 2 points, which were quite similar? And also, I know Angela was doing pretty well with her forehand blocking.
Yeah, I was going too much to her forehand. She could predict it, so I play good across the table, but if I do it every time, then she can step before. So yeah, in the end, I was like, okay, just go down the line, and that worked. So.
How do you feel you and Daniel have evolved as a doubles pair from September to now?
I feel like he can understand me really, really well, which is good, because I like to have structure when I play doubles. So because I'm not the fastest player in this court, I need to have some predictability where he will play the ball, and I feel like the more we play together, the more he can sense that, and it's just so comfortable to play with him. So.
Great stuff. Congrats on getting 2 out of 3, and we'll see you in the Golden Game, Matilda.
Thank you so much.
All right, back to singles with 2 of the best headshots, if you can call it that, in the league.
The gun show versus the Croc.
Yes, indeed. Alexander Gun Show Chen versus Ojo Onaolapo. I mean, this is an interesting contrast of styles. I mean, both these guys, you know, can wear a tank top. I'll just say that. Both of them have been in the weight room. It looks like over the break. One lefty, one righty. How do you forecast this one?
Yeah, it's a power showdown. It's about which player can get him first. It's definitely about setting up the big shots from the serve for both players. I think a little bit more so with Alex Chen. Has a good serve and attack. Ojo is just great at picking up anything that drifts a little bit long. But I would say also in the cross division, when we saw Ojo play, maybe didn't quite bring the same level that we've seen from other weekends, and we've already seen here a couple of unforced errors against the first opening. His strength lies in getting that first ball in, and there you see if the serve drifts half long, Ojo is going to lock straight in onto it.
Three of the first 4 points go to Chen.
Ojo just missing that down the line ball.
Ojo in Rock Hill was usually solid in singles. He went 4-2 in a couple matches. He struggled in the Golden Game, though, which has usually been his forte. Dominated Golden Games, won the ultimate Golden Point, the first one ever in MLTT history. Here's how good he had done previously, Matt. He went 2-10 in Golden Game points in Rock Hill, and he still has 1 more Golden Game points than he has lost, even after going 2-10 a month ago. Alex Chen having a word with the umpire about the serve.
Yeah, it looks like Ojo was saying something about it before when he took a pause there, but it's important to make sure that the ball stays in view of the opponent from the moment it's tossed from the hand to the moment it's contacted. Means you clear your hand.
Missed it.
Body can't be blocking the ball, head can't be blocking the ball, even on the toss of the ball. Well, Alex Chen just looks to have locked things down here.
When I said that Ojo was the favorite, perhaps Alex Chen heard me and took offense. course, we have seen some wild turnarounds, both in games and over the course of a 3-game match. Three straight for Ojo as he looks to rediscover his mojo. Apologies to everybody out there, it was just too easy. From 8-2 to 8-6. Big point for Alex Chen right there.
Ojo not quite able to get himself out to the wide forehand. Chen going for broke.
We've seen each of the players miss one of those over-the-table smashes here in this opening game. Wow.
That is some textbook stuff from Alex Chen. Drops the body weight almost to the ground to get that ball down.
Ojo able to save 1 game point. A few more to go. Ojo looking at the umpires, perhaps to make a call, but none coming. And game 1 belongs to Princeton. And this team match is tied up 5 points apiece. You notice anything about the serve? The Florida Crocs bench barking at the big screen monitor right next to the bench.
In table tennis, there are more rules about the service.
Certainly.
You could argue it was an angled palm and not a flat palm on the toss.
I don't think that's usually that big a deal for players. It's mostly the difficulty comes from if the toss or the contact are covered, particularly by a shoulder or by a free hand.
Ojo feels that it's not really being enforced here.
We're going to take a look at it here in slow motion and see.
We'll see. A lot of players professionally, you can have a look at the screen. The ball will disappear behind the head, behind the
Is that kosher?
Players get used to it sometimes. We'll see.
Seems okay from this angle. Of course, the difficult thing is Ojo's left-handed, so he's seeing it from a different angle than a right-hander would. So, you know, Ojo's positioned down the line, so the angle's less open than it would be if he was cross-court. Ojo coming in with the backhand serve. It's been a favorite of his across a number of matches.
Missed it. That's the forehand we've seen Ojo hit countless number of times.
Yeah, he's looking a little off. But I think that the longer rallies tend not to play as well in his favor. It can be difficult to hit with a lot of power multiple shots in a row, especially when the ball's coming back at a different pace as well.
Alexander Chen is cooking right now.
This time, Ojo picks up that long serve. Quick serve and third ball from Ojo, the left-hander. But Alexander Chen has been pretty devastating on the forehand so far this match.
Forcing Onaolapo on the defensive. But he hasn't been perfect. And Ojo is hanging around here in game 2. That one just ticked the top of the tape.
And that ball just ever so slightly bounced a little bit odd off the edge there. Close to it, but not on it. And Ojo is slowing down on the first opening. I think right now he's not particularly moving quick enough between shots.
Yeah, it's just, he's been a step off from what we're used to seeing from him. Off balance there, retreating from the table. And Chen has scored 3 straight to set up a bunch of game points. Take a 2-0 lead here in this third singles match. Yes, indeed, 11-7. Alexander Chen making a statement for the Princeton Revolution.
Takes the match with the first 2 games. And now Princeton Revolution is up by 1. We still
So
have
Chen
one more
victorious
game
in the
match.
match, but this is a critical point that's coming up right here.
You know what a chopper is.
DeSantillan versus Gorak in the 4th singles match. Another popcorn match, you could call it.
If it's anything as good as the first time they played, it should be pretty entertaining. I know DeSantillan's feeling a little bit under the weather, but looked pretty good in the warm-up.
One of the most spectacular choppers in the world is present in MLT.
Big forehand power from Alex Chen. Even the forehand flips over the table. Just the amount of contact snap he gets on them.
What do you need to see from Ojo Onaolapo here in this third game?
I think just more commitment to the first ball and into the rally, and then maybe giving himself a little bit more time to get to the next ball to connect them together. I think the recovery after the first attacking ball is really important for him. I mean, his first ball's strong, but I think he struggled when it's come back.
Important response there from Chen after Ojo had a couple strong swings in the first 2 points.
Ojo definitely looking a little frustrated there. I think it did look like free arm was. I don't think Ojo can see the ball contact from where he's standing. This is where I can kind of relate to this, but being a left-hander is difficult when you have two umpires because the angle to the umpire that's sitting on this side is much more open than it is to down the line. So when you're judging if the serve contact is blocked from view, it can be, there's like a little bit of discrepancy between what that umpire can see and what the player can see being directly down the line.
That just caught the edge.
Ojo sweeps it this time.
Why not?
Again, I mean, he's so strong at picking up half-long serves. He's either got to win outright or make sure he's ready to connect the next shot. Right now, the Crocs could do with this game being won by Ojo to level the team score up.
Like the match earlier tonight, regardless of what transpires in the final 4 games, the golden game will be the decisive factor to determine the winner of the team match tonight. Ojo's warming up. Went with the deep serve, and Chen was ready to handle it.
Ojo just taking a little bit more time there to focus on the placement and the weight transfer. Got that ball out wide to the forehand. Bit of inside-out angle too. I feel like Chen has to win this point on his serve if he has any chance of a comeback. And he doesn't. So the serve shifts back to Ojo Onaolapo as he tries to salvage this third game, and now it's back to a 1-point game at 9-8.
Wow. So Chen wins both points on Ojo Onaolapo's serve. And from down 9-6, it's now 9-all, and Chen can taste a 3-0 sweep.
Ojo clinging on here to try and get this third game.
How about that return? Ojo Onaolapo, an unsatisfying 11-9 win to close out this match. It's a strange instance where it feels that both players are kind of leaving the table unsatisfied. Chen gets 2 points for his team. Ojo able to salvage 1. And it's a 6-6 team tally heading into the final singles match between the riveting Matthew de Saint-Allan and the excellent veteran Daniel Gorak. So Chen's second time facing the Florida Crocs. He took 2 out of 3 from Benjamin Brossier back in September. Takes 2 out of 3 today from Ojo Onaolapo. Alexander, congratulations. You guys both took some big swings that match, going for your power. What in your mind? Well, first of all, how do you feel coming off the table after losing the last game, but winning 2 out of 3?
I mean, yes, I won the match, but let's say I wanted to win 3-0. But he's a good player. I think, as you said, he has also a big swing. And I think the kids who started to play active, let's say, has more advantage. And I tried to play aggressive and to start play active, yes.
What would you say was the overall strategy coming into the match, and what was effective in the first couple of games that you won?
I think I received his service better. I could keep his, I could receive short at the beginning, and in the last set I made some mistakes in the receive. So I think this was the problem. I was down 9-5, then 9-9, and then with my own service I could have, let's say, played better.
How are you feeling coming into this weekend, both individually and collectively with your team?
Our goal is to collect as many points as possible, especially against the Crocs, because we are third and they are second. So it's a very important match, and yes, I know it was also. It's not easy. Every match is hard, and I try to fight and give my best.
I hope you can leave the table with a smile, and we'll let you get ready for the golden game. Alexander Chen, well done.
Always here.
2 out of 3
Thanks.
over Ojo Onaolapo. And that takes us to the 4th and final singles match. Number 22, Matthew de Saint-Allan from France, and the 5th ranked player in the MLTT power rankings, Poland's Daniel Gorak. These two met back in September. They traded 11-9 games in the first 2, and then Gorak rolled in game 3, 11-4. This will be their first time squaring off in MLTT since in a full 3-game match. And curious, Matt Hetherington, to ask you, what do you expect?
I think long rallies. Lots of variation from both players, but Gorak in particular, he does really well at playing to both corners, moving the ball around, but also the drop shots in between. it's a very physically demanding match for De Santillan.
I mentioned it earlier, De Santillan a little under the weather, but you watched him in warm-ups. You feel like he's at a pretty good level.
Yeah, I mean, he was hitting the ball well, but when you have to run all over the court, and the man runs all over the court in almost every point, it's pretty physically taxing, but also there's the mental focus that you need to think about as well. So, yeah, I don't know like what degree of unwellness he's feeling out there, but even a little bit when you're playing a professional match is tough. But you know, of course, the team need him here, and it's great seeing him out there playing.
Mentioned it earlier, but Princeton missing Jin-Chin Wong, the first-round pick in the MLTT draft, and also without Koyo Kanemitsu, who was an 8th-round pick, but finds himself pretty high up in the MLTT power rankings. And by pretty high up, I mean number 3 right now, behind Enzo and Collet. But no Kanemitsu and no Jin-Chin Wong this weekend. So
I know he was moderately offended that he was an 8th-round pick. I mean, it's pretty surprising. I guess a lot of people maybe not as familiar with him.
4-all now. De Santillan grinding his way back into it. Revolution re-signing Nishant Labaku, who played for them as a free agent signee in Rock Hill.
The rallies have been a little on the short side so far.
What's the balance of patience versus aggressiveness that you want to see from Gorak in this match against a guy like De Santillan?
I feel like if Gorak plays at like 70 to 80%, I mean...
70 to 80% patient or?
Pace. Like, I mean, that's kind of his wheelhouse anyway, but the thing about Gorak is his game's really tempered. He doesn't play big powerful shots like Alex Chen or like Liang Jishan. He plays just with good quickness and good speed, and focuses a lot more on acceleration and placement. I think that plays really well for him when it comes to playing a defensive player. And you know, like Matilda said after they played the doubles, she relies on Daniel to be calm. And I think calmness, the ability to be calm and to calculate what you're doing against a defender is really, really important. I mean, perfect example, just played straight into the body.
Wow.
Counter-attack just clips the edge.
It's one of those points against De Santillan when he's just continuing to chop back from underneath the table.
I mean, even against the soft topspin shots from Gorak, you can see, when they show the side angle, how far De Santillan has to be back. For De Santillan, the defense is about changing spins, changing depth.
When De Santillan has tried to pivot to the attack, he has sent some astray here. That's really the difference in this game right now at 9-7. Gorak opens the door.
You will see on a lot of occasions De Santillan flipping his racket over as well. So on the black side he has long pimpled rubber, which helps for playing defense, helps reverse the spin a little bit. very common for defensive players to have. I would say the majority still use long pips on the backhand, but some have short. And then when he goes for those backhand attacks, he's got to flip his racket over. Sometimes does so for the defensive shots too, especially the kind of long pushes. All tied up here, 9 points each.
Too good from Gorak there. Big point. Tough angle. Gorak a chance to close out this game on his serve. But he can't do it. And it's 10-all.
Santalan's done a great job of mixing up the spin variation on the backhand chop. Sometimes putting less backspin rotation on, and Gorak has lifted them over the end.
How about that effort coming from behind from Matthew de Santalan?
Princeton Revolution over here with a bit of a revolution by 1 point. Man, at 7-9, there is so much going on. This is what I love about table tennis. You could have been playing for 20 years in competition and still be trying to figure out what happened at 7-9 that gave Matthew de Santalan that edge, that gave him confidence.
That's got to be really sweet for Matthew de Santalan to get off to that start.
So for those of you that don't know, Matthew de Santalan's racket has two very different surfaces.
Winning, I mean, that game was about as close as it could be, catching a couple of edges.
Definitely saw a few uncharacteristic errors from Gorak that I think he will probably reel in the second game. A couple of misses over the end.
An attack from either side and vary the spin by changing which rubber is where. And also,
mentioned it during the doubles match, Gorak went 10-2 in 4 singles matches down in Rock Hill.
He had a pretty incredible match against Nikhil Kumar. Just swept the floor with him.
Beat him 33-13 across 3 different games. Took 2 out of 3 from Texas's David Macbeth. Beat Tao Wen-Zhang 3-0. Closer games, 11-9, 11-6, 11-9. And he took 2 out of 3 from Portland's Jiwei Shah on the final Sunday of action in Rock Hill, South Carolina.
And again, Gorak just overestimating that chop a little bit. Sends the ball sailing long. I think there's going to be a lot of expectation on Gorak this weekend, being the #1 draft pick for the Crocs.
#2 pick overall.
Yeah, and also being a Florida resident as well on top of that.
He's never lost an individual singles match to Princeton. Took 2 out of 3 from de Santalan in September. Took 2 out of 3 from Jinshin Wang in both October and November. That's more like it. Princeton does have the track record, Matt, of doing well in the Golden game against a team that for the better part of the first half of the season was the superior overall outfit. Princeton winning the Golden game in both October and November, so 2-1 in Goldens against the Crocs.
Santalan right now just looking quietly focused. Hasn't been afraid to flip the racket over and go for those backhand attacks. Some have landed, some haven't.
Of course, the lead heading into the Golden game, hanging in the balance right now. Santalan could clinch at least a 1-point edge for the Revolution by closing out game 2 here.
Gorak's gonna have to step things up here.
He's trying to bring the positive energy even after the error from Santalan. Only takes 1 point sometimes for the momentum to flip.
Yeah, I mean, having confidence and really committing to your shots is so important against defensive players. You have to be very sure of yourself. Can go both ways though. I mean, playing a shot like that, which might seem more basic, if you miss it, it can kind of bury some seeds of doubt in the back of your mind. So there are a lot of mental shifts in these kinds of matches. I have a feeling also Gorak was away over the Christmas and New Year break, so I'm not sure how much he's been practicing in the last few weeks.
Santalan with a 9-6 lead.
Just not getting his racket in the right position. You could see him earlier kind of motioning that he wasn't finding the middle of his racket. Some top edges, mishits. And the drop. Perfect 2 bounce there from Daniel Gorak.
Don't see that too often.
Well, ironically enough, about 5 hours ago, I shared the video of when Daniel did that in their first match with the caption, "I wonder if we'll see this match up again tonight."
The ever clairvoyant Matt Hetherington setting the stage hours before, delivering the analysis in every way. 10-9 now.
And Gorak just mixing things up. Lots of direction changes, long balls, drop shots.
It's pretty crazy how stoic Gorak is on the outside. Sure, on the inside, he's churning a little bit. front of these hometown fans. What a point, what a gutty comeback. Gorak takes game 2.
An exceptionally well structured point there from Daniel Gorak. I think working in those drops worked well for him.
They've played 22 points so far.
He almost knew DeSantolan flipped over the racket. He really hadn't been able to hit the mark hitting backhands down the line so far in this match. So Gorak moved to cover the cross court pretty early on.
And they each scored 21. 2 + 2 is 4.
So the last time they played, the first 2 games were Gorak 11-9 and DeSantolan 11-9. The answer to the question, could it get closer? Yes, it could. Game 3 last time was an 11-4 DeSantolan rout. 7-7 on the team tally after back-to-back Golden Point thrillers. The first of the Frenchmen, most recently the Polish veteran Gorak, coming up with the goods on a heck of a rally at 10-all.
He definitely brought the goods at the exact right moment. I would say those last couple of points were
vintage.
I just think tactically his best points of the match. Certainly saved them for the right moment. It'll be interesting to see how that plays into the third game, of whether he plays more backspin push and drop shot. I think we'll see a much more controlled Daniel Gorak. DeSantolan going on the offensive with the forehand. Gorak sends it long. Again, that no spin chop just floated on by DeSantolan.
Through 5 points, you don't get the feeling that there's going to be massive separation here in game 3.
This time Gorak caught the ball early. DeSantolan just clipped the top edge.
You get the sense DeSantolan's running on fumes a little bit right here. Trying to gut it out.
And again, Gorak just sending the ball long.
Neither of these players, really showing too much energy outside of the rallies, but the focus is impressive. Obviously, we got the Golden Game on tap. It's going to be a 1-0 lead to start the Golden Game one way or another. We'll see what Matthias Havassan and Frank Arias want to do in terms of the order, the matchups after the business end of this match between Gorak and DeSantolan. Wow.
Gorak trying to work in some more drops. I think smart play, but again, even a tiny bit of hesitancy in the shot or an incomplete follow through or a little bit less weight transfer.
Of course, right when I say there's going to be no separation, DeSantolan scores 4 in a row. Tremendous.
Gorak put that last ball on blast.
Still a pretty big hill to climb.
And sends the ball long again. Just going for too much acceleration on those softer, less spinny chops from DeSantalan. Defensive variations played well.
How about that backhand? Cross-court winner.
One of the first signs of a bit of celebration from DeSantalan. He's been focusing all of his energy on the points themselves so far. DeSantalan off to a huge lead here in the third.
You know, we'll see if history repeats itself, Matt, but in each of the previous 3 matchups between Princeton and Florida, the score going into the Golden Game was 8-7. And the team that had 8 won the Golden Game every time.
I think that's going to be proved wrong this time.
You're saying you like Florida in the Golden Game?
Maybe.
Is that because, I mean, you don't know what the matchups are. Do you just feel like the energy of this venue during the Golden Game will lift them over the top? I'm curious why you say that. Obviously, Gorak's not done yet here.
I think the player caliber, I mean, even, you know, when we both looked at this, we said maybe we thought that the Crocs would have an upper hand in the second half. I don't think Ojo performed well. Of course, the order's going to be important. But also when you factor in the potential to add in Matilda Ekholm, maybe against Angela as well, I still think the Crocs have the upper hand.
Match point for DeSantalan. That'll do it. That's gutty, gritty effort from the chopping Frenchman. He takes game 3, 11-6. Takes 2 out of 3 from Gorak and gives Princeton the 8-7 lead heading into the Golden Game.
I don't think that even the owners of Princeton, who are over there in the corner, would have thought that they would have this strong a showing without 2 of their leading men. And I know that there's Roger Kang and Andre Liu. I know they definitely saw the challenge ahead of them, knowing the team that they had here, but definitely a team to rise to the challenge. I think Roger Kang, who's just walked out of screen, has been at every single Major League match so far.
I like how they've got all the gear. If Princeton needs a substitute at the last minute, you know they're ready to step onto the table, give it their best shot. Recap of the match so far. Jishan Liang took 2 out of 3 in the first singles match. Then Benjamin Brossier coming from behind against Ievgen Pryshchepa.
Plenty of diving action there.
It was a nail-biter the whole way through, and Brossier's body language at the end says it all. Gorak and Ekholm, another come-from-behind effort.
Yeah, they had to fight through some visible frustrations in their match to clutch it by the narrowest of margins in the second and third games. Alex Chen, honestly, for me, was the standout performer of these individual matches.
I'm with you.
I think a strong showing with the forehand to overcome Ojo Onaolapo. And then, of course, you just saw a spirited effort from Matthew DeSantalan to defend his way through.
Not quite the MJ flu game, but for DeSantalan, pretty good. Let's go to Flint Lane.
7. You'll start the golden game with 1 point. Florida Crocs, who will you play first? Daniel Gorak is your number 1. Who's your number 1?
Mathieu de Saint-Hilaire.
Mathieu de Saint-Hilaire is your 1. Who's your number 2?
Jishan Liang.
Jishan Liang is your number 2. Who's your number 2?
Mark Duran.
Mark Duran is your 2. And who's your 3?
Benjamin Brossier.
Benjamin Brossier is your 3. Coach?
Ievgen Pryshchepa.
Yevgen Pryshchepa is your 3. And your 4?
Alex Chen.
Alex Chen is your 4, making Angela your 5. Who will be your 4? Ojo or Matilda?
Ojo.
Ojo Onaolapo is your 4, making Matilda your 5. Good luck, coaches.
Good luck.
Well, not the spiciest change-ups from the coaches in terms of determining the order, but it was a pretty tasty 15 games we just watched, back and forth, a lot of close battles. All but one of the 15 games in this team match were decided by 5 points or less. So it'll be de Saint-Hilaire and Gorak right back to the table to begin the golden game.
So I guess this will be a true test of whether my theories are correct or not, but very interesting to see the order staying the same. I think it takes, it's a pretty gutsy move to try and change the order, but I feel like I would have switched some around.
If you were Frank?
Yeah. I don't know which ones.
It's easy to throw stones from the cheap seats.
Hey, these ain't cheap seats.
That's true too.
Got to have some perks in the commentary booth. Elevated sideline.
We've got a fantastic vantage point here at the Broward County Table Tennis Club. Action continues tomorrow and Sunday. 3-0 for de Saint-Hilaire and Princeton. Gorak able to get Florida on the board. We saw a comeback in the Golden Game earlier tonight, a Golden Game that had multiple lead changes as the shift went back and forth. Carolina and Chicago. Chicago getting the better of the first place Gold Rush. I think Chicago's rooting for Princeton here to make things a little tighter in the East Division. Chicago knows that they get to face both these teams the next couple of days. Chicago, Princeton to get Saturday's 4 p.m. round started.
Mark Duran doing an amazing job of coming off the bench. He's basically been there for the entire matchup after playing the first match. Looks like he's still pretty fresh to me.
Both points on Jishan's serve. And he wins the 3rd point of the foursome as well. Duran finds a way to win more of those points when he's deep in the court than the average player.
And he takes all 4. A sweep from Mark Duran to put the Crocs back in the lead.
Pryshchepa versus Brossier. Brossier won game 2, 11-10, game 3, 11-9 when they met earlier this evening. Pryshchepa holds serve. We're tied 5-all. Remember, it's game to 21.
Heavy backspin serve variation there.
Worked out well. Brossier's turn. Let. A few extra seconds to think about it. Pryshchepa wasn't that far away from sweeping Brossier 3-0, but he went 1 and 2. Scored 3 straight points in the Golden. And Brossier salvages the final one of that 4-point sequence. It's 6 up as we go back to Alexander Chen and Ojo Onaolapo.
Chen opting for the slower forehand opening in that point. Not able to connect the follow-up. All tied up here in the Golden game.
That's a winner from Ojo. The type of shot that the Florida Crocs got very familiar with this past fall. Three out of 4 for Ojo Onaolapo. And a chance for Matilda Ekholm to try and create some separation here, playing singles against Angela Guan. Ekholm has a better track record in Golden Games than Guan does. Let's see if that trend continues. Oh, that caught the edge. An apology from Matilda Ekholm, but I can't imagine she feels too bad about that.
I mean, one of the things that Matilda said in the post-game interview in the doubles was she doesn't feel as fast as the other players. You put her in a match like this, she has much more time. Much more time to deal with an incoming ball. I think Angela in the doubles today played really well, so it's definitely an interesting matchup here. I think also when you're talking about players playing against Chop, having a good feel for the ball is important. And amongst female players, Matilda Ekholm during her career was a player that was really renowned for having good touch, good control of the ball.
You just get caught, you think like break this, it's like a break this, you just go for the ball top. That's it, okay?
One of the things that I think is tough for Angela is when she gets into these Golden Game situations, she tends to maybe not take the attacking opportunities as much. I feel like she's got to be more aggressive. Even in the serve receives, like kind of swiping at the ball with the long pips. Changing up the variations more.
See how it goes after Princeton's final timeout. Set up well by Ekholm. She takes 3 out of 4. Extends the Florida lead.
She is absolutely pumped.
Back to the top of the order. DeSantillan and Gorak. They'll play 4 more points here. If we do get to 20 all, it would be these two that would decide it.
And we've moved from the first round when these two played, Princeton being in the lead, to now trailing. And Gorak just not finding his mark in these matchups. Typically, you would expect him to handle this kind of counter rally pretty well, but just seems to be missing the sweet spot on his racket.
Santalan frustrated with himself that he missed that one. Had a chance to get back within one. Instead, Gorak and the Crocs lead by 3.
And again, sailing that ball long. It's been a common theme in points between these two. Marc Duran comes back to the table. Can Jishan Liang do more damage than their first encounter in the Golden Game?
Duran is enjoying himself right now. Gotta love the passion. Oh, what a return! Marc Duran just pulled a rabbit out of his hat.
The Florida supporters are on their feet for that one.
Jishan's got to be thinking, finally, one of those forehands scores me a point. Duran has scored the first 6 against him here in the Golden Game. Big point here. And it will be a 4-point lead for Duran and the Crocs, with Brossier and Pryshchepa set to retake the table. What a run in the Golden Game from Marc Duran.
Pryshchepa looking to claw back some of this distance between the two teams. He would need a clean sweep here just to level the playing field.
Chan and Onaolapo are next. Back to a 2-point game. Say it one more time. If it is tied 20-20 and we get the 6th ultimate golden point in MLTT history, it'll be Gorak and DeSantalan. That missed the table. Off the net, off the edge, did not hit. Service error. Timeout, Florida.
Definitely great that they have a timeout in the bag.
Think about your best option.
After all, Ievgen Pryshchepa won 3
What has been your best option?
points so far. And
If you go short to it, he's gonna go with it straight in his backhand.
So,
Okay, so and be ready.
really needs to be in his zone right now. The difference is...
Okay, let's go. Come on.
Matt, what do you think is Brossier's best option right now?
I think short reverse to the forehand. It was the serve that he discovered during their singles match worked best for him.
Goes to the backhand. And he missed the table on the 3rd shot attack. Golden sweep for Pryshchepa. 16 all between the Revolution and the Crocs here on a Friday night in South Florida.
That certainly changes the flow of things up here in this Golden Game.
4 points for Chen Onaolapo, and then 4 for Guan and Ekholm if we get that far. Princeton is back in the lead. Had a feeling Ojo was going to take some big swings there. He did not wait to set it up on the attack immediately. 17 all. How about that?
He had barely enough space to hit that ball cross court, but somehow got it down the line.
And we've had a couple pretty good Golden games today, haven't we? Oh, what a counter by Alexander Chen to split the 4-point sequence. And they leave the table with an 18 apiece. It's up to Guan and Ekholm right here. Matilda took 3 out of the 4 earlier this game. If they split 2-2, it'll all come down to 1 point between Daniel Gorak and Matthew de Santillan. Guan will serve first. Big point for Princeton. She missed it, and Guan sets up. Match point for Princeton. So now Ekholm just trying to get her doubles partner back to the table. Matilda needs these next 2 points on her serve. It's over, and Angela Guan finishes the night for the Revolution.
What an outstanding Golden game performance between these two teams. A lot of back and forth, up and downs. Princeton Revolution. And it's Angela Guan who gets the job done.
Tomorrow at 4 p.m.
Very happy Princeton Revolution team there, and teams coming together there. It's a tough night, tough opening night for the Florida Crocs here on home ground.
And the Crocs led 16-12.
I think that matchup with Pryshchepa winning 4 in a row changed everything. I think it really
And what must this mean for Angela Guan, too, to get that success against Ekholm, a player that has stymied her at times in the past?
I mean, under that amount of pressure, you know, when you're a player that statistically hasn't necessarily performed as well in the Golden game, to be put in that position with that amount of pressure on you and to deliver is pretty impressive. I think she's got to be really happy with herself, and deservedly so.
So Princeton improves to 3-1 in Golden games against the Crocs. The race tightens in the East Division, and the victorious head coach of the Revolution, Matthias Habasson, joins us now. Matthias, you had it all the way. Just a cool, calm, collected victory, no drama. Obviously, I'm joking. How was your heart pumping during that Golden game?
Why do you say was? I still feel it. It's unbelievable. I'm really amazed. I'm wondering that I can't speak English anymore. I mean, I'm really totally out of control emotionally now. It was unbelievable, this match to me. Every match was so close and intense, and really until the end, this Golden game was unbelievable. It ran against us actually in the middle of the Golden game, and yeah, for God's sake, I have a bunch of very good players. Or today at least they were unbelievable, all of them. So please don't ask me the questions of the MVP because today everybody was, I think, very, very, very solid.
Well, let's go one at a time, starting with Ievgen Pryshchepa, who lost 2 out of 3 in singles against Brossier, but he comes back to the table. You guys were trailing by 4. It was 16-12, and he kind of triggered the turnaround. What do you see from him in the Golden game?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, also in the single, he was really dominating the match. If you watch the dynamic of the games, of the points, how it ran, he was actually the better player, and that's why my hope was that in the Golden game it will be like that with a lucky end for us. Yeah.
And coming into this weekend and this matchup, obviously getting this win, you have, I would say, a couple of drawbacks. I mean, you don't have Koyo here. Jinshen drops out quite late in the day, and you've got Nishant back on the team as a draft pool player, and also DeSantolan not feeling anywhere close to 100%. So coming into this, what were your expectations from the team, and were you a little bit surprised about how this match played out overall?
Yeah, but in advance I tried to keep everybody calm, to stay positive, because there is no sense in crying or moaning or something. And you see, this is what sport is like. Sometimes you just feel amazing, and then you somehow you lose and you don't hit the ball on the table. Sometimes you feel very bad, you're even sick, and it releases a little bit of pressure, and then you play even better. It's just like this, and because I know this, that the things can be like this, I wasn't so negative or something. I thought that we can beat the Crocs even if we are weakened in this session, but yeah, we just focus on the work, on the tactics, on the practice. So yeah, and it ran good for us, and we are under pressure. I mean, we need to catch points. Our goal is to reach the playoffs, and so we are very happy for this win. Yeah.
What about Angela's final 3 points against Matilda?
Amazing. I mean, Angela was amazing today. Also in the doubles, if you follow it, she played unbelievable points in between, and her quality on the balls today was also very, very good. So, yeah, I mean, it seems that she is playing better every weekend and weekend to me, really.
Well, you were down 21 points to Florida in the standings. Now you're down just 14. You're clawing your way back. You're trending in the right direction.
Yeah.
We'll let you go. Congrats on the win. Enjoy it tonight. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you so much.
Chicago's also a team that's coming off a win today, so that's going to be a very interesting match tomorrow. Looking forward to it, Matthias. Thank you.
Looking forward to. Thank you, guys. Thank you very much.
Matthias Habasson, former professional, 6 years as the head coach of the Austrian national team, and Matthew DeSantolan, a huge contributor for the Revolution. And Matthew, I heard a rumor that you were feeling slightly under the weather. Let's hear from you. How are you feeling?
Yes, I was not feeling so good today. At lunch, I don't know if I will play this match. I take some medicaments for fever, and after it was better, and I said, okay, I can play. And finally, I play. Nice.
Quite good.
I was not so full power, so I changed my game, and I don't take too much attack, and I make a lot of variation of spin, of backspin, no spin, and it works. He made so many mistakes. I win like this, yes, I think.
Yeah, and your singles and the golden game as well, I think defensive variations, especially changing the backhand chop sometimes to no spin, I think worked really well against Daniel Gorak. So sometimes you were also being quite aggressive with the backhand as well. Did that factor in at all for you on, having to still take those chances even though you maybe weren't wanting to move around too much or exert as much energy?
Yes, I see in the single, then when I play no spin deep in the forehand, he make some mistakes. So in golden game, I start to play like this with my long pips. I try to receive directly, and after he was maybe a little more patient. So I try to attack just a little bit with my backhand. For okay, if you don't play, I can attack a little bit. So you have to take more risk. That was the tactic.
Before we let you go, Matthew, is it more satisfying to beat Florida in Florida in front of their rowdy fans?
Yes, it's very satisfying because the first match in Daytona, we lead golden game 17-13, and we lose like 21-18, and now it's reversed. So it's very satisfying. I'm very happy with this win.
Well, the East Division race is getting much closer. Chicago wins earlier tonight. You guys take care of business, so I'm looking forward to 4 o'clock tomorrow. Hope you can get some rest tonight and be feeling good tomorrow. Well done.
Thank you.
Matthew DeSantolan, thanks for joining us. Matt, put a bow on this evening for us. The race for the 2 spot in the East is looking mighty interesting. We got obviously a lot of points up for grab this weekend, and then 2 more regular season weekends still to come.
Well, I think, if anything, if we saw the performance of the Chicago Wind and the determination of these bottom 2 teams, if Princeton can turn that match around and beat the Florida Crocs, and Chicago can beat the Carolina Gold Rush, I think the Crocs could be in for a rocky weekend here on home ground, and maybe their mentality might be slightly worried or under pressure about whether or not they can hold the second spot. Obviously, we still have a little way to go in the season, so it's plenty of time for things to move around a bit more, but Chicago Wind and Revolution have got to feel pretty happy with their performances, particularly in the Golden Game tonight.
I hope you enjoyed the first MLTT action of 2024 along with us, and we hope you'll join us tomorrow at 4 p.m. local time here from the Broward County Table Tennis Club. It is Princeton and Chicago, and then Florida and Carolina. And look, coming into the weekend, I kind of had that Florida-Carolina match circled as this is going to be the top two teams, but all of a sudden, it's that race with these two teams that are coming on strong, making a move. So we'll see you tomorrow at 4 p.m. here from Hollywood, Florida. For our entire crew, for Matt Hetherington, Evan Lepler saying good night